Achieving strategic fit. Strategic fit requires that both the competitive and supply chain strategies of a company have aligned goals. It refers to consistency between the customer priorities that had competitive strategy hopes to satisfy and the supply chain capabilities that the supply chain aims to build. For a company to achieve strategic fit, it must accomplish the following. Number one, the competitive strategy and all functional strategies must fit together to form a coordinated overall strategy. Each functional strategy must support other functional strategies and help a firm reach its competitive strategy goal. Number two, the different functions in a company must appropriately structure their process and resources to be able to execute this strategy successfully. The design of overall supply chain and the role of each stage must be aligned to support their supply chain strategy. That's number three. Company may fall either because of a lack of strategic fit or because its overall supply chain design, process, resources does not provide the capabilities to support the desired strategic fit. Consider, for example, a situation in which marketing is publicizing a company's ability to provide a large variety of products quickly. Simultaneously, the distribution is targeting the lower cost means of transportation. In this situation, it is likely that the distribution will delay orders so it can get better transportation economies by grouping orders together and using inexpensive but slow modes of transportation. This action conflicts with marketing stated goals of providing variety quickly. Similarly, consider a different scenario in which a retailer has decided to provide a high level of variety while carrying low levels of inventory, but has selected suppliers and carriers based on their low price and not their responsiveness. In this case, the retailer is likely to be ending up with an unhappy customer because of poor product availability. To elaborate a strategic fit, let us consider the evolution of Dell and its supply chain between 1993 and now. So the present means between 1993 and 2006. Dell's competitive strategy was to provide a large variety of customizable product as a reasonable price. Given the focus on customization, Dell's supply chain was designed to be a facility that focused on low cost efficiency by producing large volumes of the same configuration would not have been appreciated in this setting. The notion of the strategic fit also extends to other functions within Dell. Dell PCs were designed to use common components and to allow rapid assembly. This design strategy clears aligned well with the supply chain of goal assembling customized PC in response to customer orders. Dell worked hard to carry this alignment to its suppliers, given that Dell produced customized products with lower level of inventory. It was crucial that the suppliers and the carriers be highly responsive. For example, the ability of the carriers to merge a PC from Dell with a monitor for Sony allowed Dell not to carry any Sony monitors in inventory. Since 2007, however, Dell altered its competitive strategy and had to change its supply chain accordingly. With a reduced customer focus on hardware customization, Dell branched out its selling PCs to retail stores such as Walmart. Through Walmart, Dell offers a limited variety of desktop and laptops. It is essential that monitors and other peripherals be available in inventory because a customer buying a PC at Walmart is not willing to wait for the monitor to show up later. Clearly, the flexible and responsive supply chain that aligns well with customer needs for customization does not necessarily align well with the customer no longer want customization but prefer lower prices. Given the changing customer priorities, Dell has shifted a greater fraction of its production to a build-to-stock model to maintain strategic fit. Contract manufacturers like Foxconn that are focused on low cost now produce many of Dell's products well in advance of sale to maintain strategic fit. Dell's supply chain has moved from relentless focus on responsiveness to a greater focus on low cost. So for Foxconn, let me tell you an example of the current understanding that Foxconn is opened up a plant in Chennai for Apple, and the first iPhone 11 now are going to be manufactured in India. So in that, let's go ahead and do the how is strategic fit achieved also. So what does a company need to do to achieve that all important strategic fit between the supply chain and the competitive strategies? A competitive strategy will specify either explicitly or implicitly one of the more customer segments that a company hopes to satisfy. To achieve strategic fit, a company must ensure that its supply chain capabilities supports its ability to satisfy the needs of the target customer segments. So now here there are three basic steps to achieve this strategic fit, which we outline here and then discuss more in detail. Number one is understanding the customer and supply chain's uncertainty. So firstly, a company must understand that customer needs for each targeted segment and the uncertainty these needs impose on the supply chain. These needs help the company define the desired cost and service requirements. Supply chain uncertainty helps the company identify the extent of the unpredictability of demand and supply that supply chain must be prepared for. Understanding the supply chain capabilities. Each of many types of supply chain is designed to perform different tasks well. A company must understand what its supply chain is designed to do well. Achieving strategic fit. If a mismatch exists between the what the supply chain does particularly well and the desired customer needs, the company will either need to restructure the supply chain to support the competitive strategy or alter its competitive strategy. So step one is understanding the customer and supply chain uncertainty. To understand the customer, a company must identify the needs of the customer segment being served. Let us compare 7-Eleven and a discounter such as Sam's Club is a part of Walmart. When customers go to 7-Eleven to purchase detergent, they go there for the convenience of a nearby store and not necessarily looking for a lower price. In contrast, low price is very important to a Sam's Club customer. This customer will be willing to tolerate less variety and even purchase large package size as long as the price is low. Even though customers purchase detergent at both places, the demand varies along certain attributes. In the case of 7-Eleven, customers are in hurry and want convenience. In the case of Sam's Club, they want a low price and are willing to spend time getting it. In general, customer demand from different segment varies along with several attributes as follow. So quality of the product needed in each lot as emergency order for material is needed to repair a production line is likely to be small. An order for material to construct a new production line is likely to be large. Response time that customers are willing to tolerate. The tolerable response time for the emergency order is likely to be short, whereas allowable response time for the construction order is apt to be long. Now, variety of products needed. A customer plays a high pays and play. A customer may place a high premium on the availability of all the parts of an emergency repair order for a single supply. This may not be the case for construction order. Service level required. A customer placing an emergency order expects a high level of product availability. The customer may go elsewhere if all the parts of the order are not immediately available. This is not apt to happen in the case of construction order, for which the longer lead time is likely. Price of the product. The customer placing the emergency order is apt to be much less sensitive to price than the customer placing the construction order. Desired rate of innovation in the product. Customer at a high-end department store of a lot of innovation and design in the store apparel. Customer at Walmart may be less sensitive to a new product innovation. Each customer in a particular segment will tend to have similar needs, where a customer in different segment can have very different needs. Although we have described several attributes along which a customer demand varies, our goal is to identify one key measure for combining all of these attributes. This single measure then helps define what the supply chain should be doing particularly well. Implied demand uncertainty. At first glance, it may appear that each of the customer need categories should be viewed differently. But in fundamental sense, each customer need to translate it into metric of implied demand under uncertainty, which in demand uncertainty imposed on the supply chain because of the customer needs it seeks to satisfy. We make a distinction between demand uncertainty and implied demand uncertainty. Demand uncertainty reflects the uncertainty of customer demand for a product. Implied demand uncertainty, in contrast, is the resulting uncertainty for only the portion of the demand that the supply chain plans to satisfy based on the attribute that customer desires. For example, let me explain. A firm supplying only emergency orders of the product will face a higher implied demand uncertainty then a firm supplies the same product with a longer lead time. A second firm has the opportunity to fulfill the orders eventually and evenly over the long lead time. Another illustration of the need of this distinction is the impact of service level. As a supply chain raises its level of service, it must be able to meet a higher and higher percentage of actual demand, forcing it to prepare for a rare surges in demand. Thus, raising the service level increases the implied demand uncertainty, even though product's underlying demand uncertainty does not change. Brought the product demand uncertainty and various customer needs that the supply chain tries to fill affect the implied demand uncertainty. Illustrate how various customer needs affect implied demand uncertainty. As each individual customer needs contributes to the implied demand uncertainty, we can use the implied demand uncertainty as a common metric which is used to distinguish between types of demand. Fisher 1997 pointed out that the implied demand uncertainty is often correlated with other characteristics of demand. So the product with uncertain demands are often less mature and have direct competition. As a result, margins tend to be high. Forecasting is more accurate when demand has less uncertainty. Increased implied demand uncertainty lead to increased difficulty in matching the supply with demand. For a given product, the dynamic can lead to either a stock out or an oversupply situation. Increased implied demand uncertainty thus leads to both higher oversupply and higher stock out rates. Markdowns are high for products with great implied demand uncertainty because supply and oversupply often results. Impact of customer needs on implied demand uncertainty. So customer need will cause the implied demand uncertainty to two. Basically, what are the customer needs and what will the cause in the implied demand uncertainty, I'll discuss. So the range of quantity required increases. When the customer's range of quantity required increases, it will increase because a wider range of quantity required implies greater variance in demand. So when the customer lead time decreases, the implied demand uncertainty increases because there is a less time in which to react to orders. If the customer's variety of products required increases, it will also increase the implied demand uncertainty because the demand per product becomes less predictable. When the number of channels through which product may be acquired increases, it again increases the implied demand uncertainty because customer demand per channel becomes less predictable. Rate of innovation increases for customer demand, it will increase that also, it will increase the implied demand uncertainty also because the new products tend to have more uncertain demands. Required level of service increases, then also the customer demands, the implied demand uncertainty will increase because the firm now has to handle unusual surges in demand. So we will discuss more on this tomorrow. For today, let's just wrap it out, and tomorrow we will